guys, and I'm going to start off with my Evermatte from Becca on my eyebrows, and then I'm going into Benefits Kabrow in number 5. Excuse my voice, I'm working through a cold, so I'm going to use that Kabrow from Benefit on my eyebrows. I kind of really like this a little bit more than I like the Anastasia Dip Brow. I have number 5 and I think I'm number 6. And sometimes I go between the two. So I'm going to use a concealer up under my eyebrow, and that's the Anastasia's concealer. This is in 6.5. And I'll just blend it out with a angled brush, and I think this is a Sigma brush that I had for a minute from a set. And I just blend that out, and then I'm going to put Anastasia's Ebony to set everything in place, and also to add a little bit more darker brown to my eyebrows. And then we're going to get into my paint pot that I used, which is Tailor Gray. I put that all over the eye, and again with a synthetic brush. This one's a no-name brush I got from someplace. I don't even remember, but it's synthetic. And then I'm going to set it with the Le Pierre powder all over. And then I get into my MAC Red Hot Red Hot times 9 palette, and that orangey color right there. And then I'm going into my Narcissist palette, and I'm going into that taupey brown. Okay, now I'm going into that darker brown right by the black, and I'm going to use a more smaller brush that I got from Cosetti, and it's a fluffy brush, but it's still kind of pointed, so I'm using that like on the top part of my crease and blending that out. And I'm going to go in between that brown and black color, and I'm going to take that all over. Still going above where I laid everything down at the second time. Then I'm going to carve that out with LA Girl's Porcelain Concealer, and just carving out my cut crease. I should have went a little bit higher, because when I looked down, when I took pictures, one eye was a little bit lower than the other one. So that's my bad. So I'm just going to carve that out. And I did go back on top with a very thin brush just to define that darker color on top into that cut crease after I looked at it. Okay, now I'm going into that gold, and I set that in the inner part of my eye, and just slowly but surely just adding it on there. Again, these Nars eyeshadows are very nice. No fallout, very creamy. I went into that burnt orange color next, and then I just blended that, and I did go back into the gold to blend out that burnt orange, just so that it'll blend better. And then I went into that dark brown on the edge, and I used like a varied it's a blending brush, but it's more like squished down more to blend that out with that with that brush, and also the outer part of that eye, and still kept it more winged by using that brush. So I just went into that color a couple times, and also added a little bit more of that black on the outer part, and went back and touched up my other eye. Okay, we're going to start on the face. I went into some facial oil. It's the Faresli oil, and I used Becca's Topaz liquid highlighter on my face. Then I went into Nars's matte primer, and then I'm going to use my new Too Faced foundation that I just got, and it's in coca, and I put that with a synthetic brush, just dots all over my face and on the side of my face, and then went into blending it with a beauty blender. I just did one side of my face first. I think I went in twice all over my face with the foundation and just blended it out with the beauty blender. Now I'm going into my Too Faced concealer and deep, and I found it to be a little bit too warm. I wanted it to be a little bit more, just a tad lighter than what it was. But I still used that, and I blended it out with my beauty blender. I don't really take it all the way over because I'm going to use that beauty blender, and it's going to spread across just fine. So I don't take all that concealer all the way over. I just use it in the center, and then I just blend it out with the beauty blender to where I need it to be. Then I went into my KKW concealer stick, and I used that basically to highlight a little bit more, since I felt like it was a little bit not bright enough for me. And I think this is a good way of using this concealer more as a brightening stick instead of just the concealer. And I just used that, and then contoured my nose with it, and also used the darker one too. Then I used the La Pierre powder, translucent powder, to set up under my eye and under my eye, my nose, and my forehead and my chin. And then I also went in with Motive's medium golden on top of that, just to warm up my face more after using the translucent powder. That's me showing you the Motive's medium golden that I'm knocking off that translucent powder with. Then I also went into Becca's multitasking powder and warm honey. And I also used the KKW contour sticks. Is in the darkest shade that she has in that line, and I used that to sculpt my face. When I was using this, the stick broke, and I show it to you. It was in my hand. Then I used some Evian spray, and I blended out that contour. Then I went into my face powder, which was the Bare Minerals Truffle 29, the Bare Minerals Pro. And my blush was the Estee Lauder Pure Color Envy and 130 Soulful Spice. And I also used the KKW contour palette, again the darkest one in that line. I used that darker shade, which I absolutely love. It really contours beautifully and it stays on nicely. I used the Nars, what's it called? The Ida brush to contour my face. And then I used the highlight in that same palette to highlight my face, and sprayed it with some Evian spray to give it a little bit of woo. So I hope you enjoyed this look. Bye, till next time. Hey guys, I'm back, and go talk about this look. I finally got my hands inside of the Nars Narcissist palette, and I used a couple colors. I used this one, and these two are the outer part of my eye, and this right here on my brow bone. Pretty much I like it. This one right here had a lot of kick up, but other than that, that was the only one I had that kicked up. It wasn't a problem. It went on beautifully, and I sprayed my Avion sprays on the floor on my brush after I put the color down, because I used this LA Girl, where is it, concealer in porcelain, and I feel like when I use this and I just put it on, it cracks, so I go back over it with a damp brush. And yeah, and I'm loving my AliExpress lashes that I bought like a while ago, but I love it. Lipstick, I have on Club Hopper by NYX lip liner, and I also put Nars's Anna on. Let me show it to you. This is Nars Anna, and on top of that I put on Skin Deep 344 by Marc Jacobs. I'll put some on. Ooh, lips are popping. Of course, my hair is Ani Boo 220s, 18 and a 16-inch frontal. This is the curls from last week. Still popping. Just had it on top of my table out there. Foundation was Born This Way Cocoa. This was all red on me, but I was able to make it work. This is it's a medium to full coverage. I put at least, I squirted out at least like 4 pumps of this, and I basically used all of it. Also used the Born This Way concealer. It just wasn't bright. It wasn't bright at all. I went in with KKW's highlighter stick, the matte brightening part of it, and I added that to brighten it up some underneath my eyes, which I would probably do, you know, with how I would work with that KKW product. If I use concealer that's not too bright, and if I want a little bit more to it, I add that, just instead of adding a whole nother concealer with it, you know what I mean, just to mix those two together. So I also use my La Mer powder, translucent powder. I have been like so enamored in just with Laura Mercier's medium deep translucent powder. I wanted to try to use something else. I like this powder, but I also mixed it with this right here, and I haven't used this in quite a long time, and I think this is better off on its own, not mixed on top of this, because it was like really, really bright, and I had to go in with my powder, which was Becca's multitasking perfecting powder. This is in Warm Honey. And I also put on my face is Bare Minerals Truffle 29 all over my face. Just kind of blend that a little bit more in, because I didn't want it to be too white or stark up under my eyes. And Estee Lauder's blush right here. This blush is banging, and this is Pure Color Envy. This is in 130 Soulful Spice. And I also contoured with the KKW contour right here, and I also use this highlighter right there. I sprayed it with my brush before I went in. I still don't think this is like the blinding, like bam type of highlighter, but it is, I think it's more subdued, and it's still like really pretty. It's a pretty glow within. It's not too sparkly. I got brushes everywhere. And I went in with my bronzer, which is Faresli by Nars. So yeah, this is the look, and I hope you enjoy watching this. Welcome to the fall. Welcome to the fall looks from me. We're going to be a lot warmer, we're going to tone down the brightness. I'm still going to do some things that are going to be bright, but I'm not going to be over the top bright. That's just for the summer, but now we're gonna bring it down some. So I'm really loving my hair right now. I could like twist it into this. It's a little straggly pom-pom. You know? Or leave it out, but yeah. Yeah, I gotta go. So bye. Till next time. Thank you for watching.